Right lane is right.
With New Year's upon us, I made a resolution that I wasn't going to get any more mega boners from these cars. Yep, failed that one. 1968 Pontiac Firebird, and this might look like any other run-of-the-mill Firebird, but I can assure you it's not. Because if you break it down, this car is only one of 12 because it has an automatic transmission and the holy grail, Ram Air II.
Go! Whoa, there we go!
The Ram Air II is an absolute monster. It came with revised cylinder heads with round exhaust ports, a modified distributor curve, stiffer valve springs, compression ratio of 10.75 to 1, yada yada yada. You guys get the idea. But possibly the coolest part is that it came with the first ever computer designed camshaft. And what they came up with was pretty wild.
You're a wild man, you know that? Yes, he's a wild man. You know that?
340 horsepower at 5,400 RPM and 435 pound-feet of torque at 3,600 RPM. But let's not forget about its opponent, 1969 Dodge Dart GTS 340. And as you would expect, this has a 340 cubic inch V8 with a high lift cam, Carter 4-barrel carburetor, free-flowing exhaust, and like the Pontiac, a fantastic pair of heads. Compression ratio is 10.5 to 1, and this thing was underrated at 275 horsepower at 5,000 RPM and 340 pound-feet of torque at 3,200 RPM. And sure, in this matchup, the 340 is like bringing a knife to a gunfight, but this knife is still pretty darn sharp.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
And for those of you wondering, no, I do not create the matchups. I'm simply a spectator like everyone else. I think you guys are giving me way too much credit sometimes. I mean, have you seen the jokes on this channel? You really think I have the brain power to arrange something like a pure stock event? You could get a 4-speed manual transmission in the Dart GTS, but this one has the TorqueFlite 3-speed automatic, so it should get off the line fairly consistently. The Firebird also had a 4-speed manual transmission available, but just like the Dart, this one's got a 3-speed automatic, but this time it's the Turbo 400. And did you happen to notice that the Firebird is a radio and heater delete car?
Swing!
Swing!
Tent pole!
323 gears were standard in the Dart GTS 340, but this car's been upgraded just a little bit to a set of 430 gears. Gangsta. But the Pontiac isn't too far off. It's running a set of 411 gears and a safety track rear, and on Cars and Zebras, we're all about safety.
Oh no!
With driver included, the Dart is coming in at 3,562 pounds, and this might surprise you, but the Firebird actually has a slight weight advantage. And that's because this specific Pontiac with driver weighed in at only 3,518 pounds. And come on, you guys, the steel wheels on that car makes this thing look fantastic. I guess following that New Year's resolution is about as hard as my dick. The GTS 340 was a really good deal back in 1969. It started out at $3,226, and that included the 340 V8 and an automatic transmission. Adding sure grip was only another $42, so that gives you a grand total of $3,268, and adjusting for inflation, that's only $23,172 today. The Firebird was a little bit more expensive, but still a great deal for the performance. It started out at $2,781. Ram Air II was going to cost you $631. The safety track rear was $63, automatic transmission $236. So at its cheapest, this car would be $3,711, and adjusting for inflation, that's $27,750 today. Just a little bit more information before we check out that first round. At the time of filming, temperature was 57 degrees, humidity 44%, elevation 944 feet, and barometric pressure was 29.44 inches. All right, let's see what happens. even though the Dart had an early lead, the Ram Air was able to pass it by the finish line and takes home the win, running a very impressive 13.06 second quarter mile at 109.47 miles per hour. Meanwhile, the Dart was quick, but not quite quick enough, with a 13.23 at 102.83 miles per hour. Why don't we check out round 2?
13.06. Now we have Frank Remlinger in the right lane with the Dodge Dart GTS. He also runs the Dart GTS registry on Facebook. I believe he's from Harper Woods, Michigan. Yes, Detroit suburb. In the left lane, we got Ryan Sanders. He's from Galveston, Indiana. Firebird turns at 1283, 107 miles per hour.
And in the second round, the Dart red lights and runs a nearly identical 13.22 second quarter mile at 102.63 miles per hour. But in the other lane, the Firebird ran a much improved 12.83 second quarter mile at 107.25 miles per hour. And with that, the Firebird is the best of 3 champion. However, both of these cars opted to run a third round, so thank you to the owners, and let's see what happens.
The red lighting Dart, 1322 for GTO. Up next, we got Franz Remlinger of Harper Woods, Michigan. This 1969 Dodge Dart GTS. He's a veteran of this event. It's always nice to see him and his wife. She does a very good pulled pork, I must say. And up next on the right lane is Ryan
And the Firebird pulls off the trifecta, running a 12.87 second quarter mile at 108.91 miles per hour, compared to the Dart's 13.25 seconds at 103.40 miles per hour. I should say that the Dart qualified at a 13.08 and the Firebird a 13.06. On paper, this should have been a very close match, but you know what? The Dart ran a little bit slower today, and the Firebird ran a little bit quicker, and that's just how drag racing goes sometimes. So with that, I guess Happy New Year, assholes. Thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And come on, find us on Instagram, guy. What are you doing with your life?